5, 6, 7, 8. Merry Christmas from Judy, Rudy, and Mr. Yips. Judy and Rudy and Mr. Yips. Judy, Rudy, and Mr. Yips.
Merry Christmas.
I am so full of the Christmas cheer, Miss Garbage.
Why, put me in Santa's bag and poke me full of holes.
Hey, I don't care if it's cold. I'm just glad I'm here.
I don't care if the snowflakes are giving me frostbite. I'm just glad to be here tonight.
I don't care if I get trampled by 9 reindeer straight. I'm just grateful for the holiday.
I don't care if Rudolph corners me in the shed.
Me neither, Judy. If I'm being honest, why, it would be an honor. Hello and welcome back to Rudy and Judy and Mr. Pibbs guest starring on Musical Monday or whatever. Zach and Shay and Caleb are still on vacation, and they saw an early cut of our last episode, and they said, "Hey, what'd you do? It's almost like you didn't do our format at all."
They said, hey, if you come back again, we've got a restraining order against you, old folks.
And we said to that, why, this is America, and we got our restraining order right here, and we flipped them 2 birds.
And we said, Mr. Yips will fight you. He's been trained in the old boxing center.
And if you know anything about Shay, Zach, and Caleb, they're very conflict averse, so they said, all right, you get one more time.
And now here we are celebrating Christmas Day. Santa Claus.
Mrs. Claus.
Mrs. Claus. Santa's children.
Santa's illegitimate children.
Santa's torrid affairs.
Santa's lupus and ailments.
Santa's polio cured.
Santa's stocks going down.
Santa's sleigh.
Santa plays rugby.
Santa's warts.
Santa's wars.
There's a whole world up there.
There's a lot of people, you just think it's all about making toys and coming down for Christmas. He's got a life. He only works 1 day out of the year.
He's a flawed man. Stop trying to make him an idol and perfect.
I'm sick of revisionist history. Sure, Mr. Claus might give out a couple of presents, but he also infected an entire town with rickets one time. Non-lethal.
Which is why we've decided to share this musical that we created.
Yes.
That we made back in 39.
39. Because, and I'm pretty sure this timeline works out, the greatest threat to Christmas was communism.
We were ahead of our time.
Yes.
We knew it was going to happen.
Yeah. And a lot of people say, did communism exist back then? Who knows? But what matters is it's an ever-facing threat. The Red Scare was Santa.
That's right. Santa was the biggest communist of them all.
Yes.
Trying to bring gifts to every child.
Everyone, he gets to decide the central power, who's good, who's bad, who gets what gifts. Why, that's communism if I've ever heard it.
Can I tell you a secret, Rudy?
Please, Judy.
I'm a dirty commie myself.
Oh, I'm so glad you said. I love communism. Marx is my man.
Marx is my baby daddy.
Really?
He's burnt several of my children.
Which we've established are pickles.
That's
But
right.
you stuck up your whoozoo.
He's a sour man.
That totally makes sense and tracks to me. Why, I'm glad we're out here. Mr. Yips, why, have you drunk a glass of that red potion?
He's a sour man, but he is Brian.
He's mighty Brian.
He's mighty
Brian
Brian.
to me. You know what? The Red Scare got a bad rep. But actually, this was the only one thing that Santa did right. And I know it sounds like a 180, but we're all being open and honest now.
That's right. I was scared you would turn me in, you old fox.
And I was afraid you would shoot me on the spot.
You know how in Hollywood everybody got arrested if they were affiliated with old dirty commies. You got arrested, Mr. Yips.
Oh, no.
4 times. That's right.
4 times.
And I'm sorry to say, I'm the one that turned you in.
And she beat me to it. And I got the reward because I was the man.
Yes, they put it in his bank account.
Back in old Hollywood, why, you could be thrown in jail for communism for sharing half your meal at dinner time.
That's right. They said, you eat that all yourself. That's the American way. You eat your...
Every man, boy, and child.
You eat your lamb chop by yourself.
And I don't care if that's 3 pounds of meat. You eat it yourself, you dirty commie.
Yeah. So at the start of this musical, we zoom in.
Zoom in.
Stage style.
Stage.
Zoom in with your eyes.
With your eyes. You peer closer. Zoom in. Move your neck a little bit.
To a frosty night. Snowflakes are falling. Chimneys are lit with fires.
Indeed.
And a Santa Claus.
Huddled by a fire in his old thinking chair, reading, of course, the Communist Manifesto.
He's thinking, now, what could I do to give these children a treat? And
Why, I need to seize the means of toy production, and that's what's going to help give these kids exactly what they need. Remember that part?
yes, I do remember.
He wanted to give him a treat, see? He was saying he saw inequality in the world, which, of course, we all agree there is. Why, sometimes you want a summer home, and it just went up 25%, you can't get it. Now, that's what I call inequality.
Yes, and I call it something else.
What do you call it, Judy?
Can't say.
Really? Tell me off the microphone, would you? Whisper it in my ear.
Maybe someday,
Maybe
Rudy.
someday. All right.
So we see, we zoom out with our
You
eyes.
zoom in with your head, then see Santa reading something, then you zoom back out.
Into a child's home. A young boy, a young whippersnapper wearing, suspenders and a collared shirt and Levi's.
Swedish clogs.
Swedish clogs. But in America.
Says made in America. Don't forget it.
And
We did it first and we did it better.
he's so scared of communists. He doesn't realize they're good people yet.
He doesn't realize why they're friends, just you and me. Why it's Mr. Baker's down the street and Mrs. Jenkins down below.
That's right. So he's writing his wish list to Santa Claus. And in his wish list, he says, I hope all commies, finish the sentence for me, darling.
Die. That's all it was. That was the whole wish list.
Yes, and he's singing what he wants for Christmas this year.
Which is the thing we just said.
Yes.
And he embellishes why. There's other reasons, and he gives his tiny boy's rationale for why he thinks the terrors of communism are.
Yes. In this song, Dear Santa Claus or J. Edgar Hoover.
Whomever. Dear Mr. Sandy Claus or President Hoover, I don't care who answers as long as communism is over. This is my little 11-year-old Christmas wish, that you take a shot on communism and don't miss. Other little boys my age want a baseball and a mitt. I want you to make a plan against the commies and to commit. Throw them all in prison, throw them behind bars, run them over with our shiny Model T cars. I don't care what it takes to end this awful un-American movement. Dear Sandy Claus or President Hoover, if you're a communist, then I think that you're a right loser. 'Cause sharing isn't caring, it is dangerous. We should all consume for ourselves. And the one thing I learned is we don't go to others for help. Communism will give you warts. It'll make your fingers fall off during summertime. It'll make you lose all your hair, and it'll make water taste like brine. Communism make girls not fall in love with you when they'll fall in love with people from across the seas. Communism is the worst thing that could ever happen on Christmas Eve. So Santa Claus or President Hoover, please go in then and shoot 'em. Take your Tommy gun and end it for me, please. Signed, Little Timmy Timpson from Connecticut, 24601. That's the zip code, 24601 of Connecticut.
Simply wonderful. Wonderfully done.
Thank you.
A classic song.
Christmas song.
Classic Christmas song that's transcended the age.
Why, it's timeless. You can't walk down a J.C. Penney's or a Macy's without hearing Mr. Hoover, please shoot a commie ringing through your ears.
They play it at Macy's Thanksgiving Parade.
Every time. Oh, my gosh, and I am just feel honored to be able to hear it once again.
And so, in the musical next, we go back to Santa Claus.
We zoom back in. We move our eyes forward and we see Santa reading. He puts the Communist Manifesto aside. He reads little Timmy's note, and a single tear falls upon his rosy cheek.
He is ridden with grief, and he decides to fly on his sleigh because it is Christmas night.
He just like, oh, shoot, I better do my job. What am I doing? Reading political theory and little boys' notes. I gotta go. It is 5:59 a.m. Christmas Day, and he says, oh, shoot, I only have 2 hours for Christmas.
But, oh no, what a disappointment. People have stopped believing in communism. They hate it. And Santa is one, and so his sleigh starts
falling out of the sky.
Falling out of the sky. The reindeer are run amok.
They're running sideways and forwards. They're pulling that sleigh all over. He is in a tailspin.
That's right. And Rudolph, that old slacker, he's getting whipped and willied all over the place. And
he's being whipped by the other reindeers with leather whips. And chains, as they're falling down, being whipped by the wind.
They said, it's your fault, Rudolph. It's your fault. We played games with you, but no more.
But no more. No more reindeer games for you.
Your nose is red, you commie. And they turn
the
on
reindeer
him.
were not politically aligned with Santa, but Rudolph was the only one.
That's right. That's why his nose burnt so bright.
So bright red. A light for us all.
So Santa is stranded in
Suburbia.
And
who does he see in a tiny child's window but a little girl with pigtails who lets him in out of the cold? Back in those days, a young little girl could let a clearly old, obese man into a room and no one would blink twice about it.
That's right. They thought he probably just brought her cookies and milk.
And
that's where the old Christmas tradition started.
Thank goodness for that little girl. And she brings him in, and she is the only girl in the neighborhood who believes in communism. The only one. And she sings him a song that helps him reinvigorate his communistic Christmas spirit.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes, I remember it well.
Good.
Yeah.
And she's got tiny little pigtails and a cute little button nose, and she drinks a glass of water before bed, and she cheers him up with this song. Where are you, communism?
I used to think that Christmas was about presents and gifts and wrapping. But now I realize that's just capitalism wrapping its fiery tendrils around my brain. And that's not how I think all the time. There's gotta be more to this season than buying without reason. I hope I can find it in time. Old man with the twinkling eyes, can you tell me what lies I've been told and reveal to me the Christmas meaning? I love the color red. I wanna wear it to school and to bed, but other kids make fun of me. They say to understand. Where are you, communism? I wanna find you. I miss that warm feeling, to know I'm taken care of, and to feel loved by the whole world with its arms around me. It's like a present every day for free. Where are you, communism? I wish I had you. Russia so far away. I wish I had you. Bread lines till curfew. I want communism today.
Gorgeous, gorgeous, Judy. That little girl grew up to be Nancy Pelosi. So inspired by the Santa Claus, sharing and caring. And her beautiful, non-copyrighted song just inspired Santa so much that his cheeks grew 3 sizes that day, and his belly 12. He had to be rushed to the hospital.
You be a skinny man, Santa. Little guy.
That's right. He used to be just a beanpole.
Oh,
That's when he grew permanently big-sized.
personally obese-sized. And he was powered enough to make Christmas happen for everyone that night.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
This last song is the falling action of the musical, as everybody's happy, snuggled in their own couches, popping popped corn in the fireplace, and enjoying the Christmas night, knowing that they'll lose the Cold War.
They're all consigned to it because they love presents. And they realize if they open these presents, they're basically signing themselves over to the Communist Party.
Indeed. So this is just a classic Christmas song.
Classic. Classic as can be.
That highlights not just the beautiful moments of Christmas, but also the sometimes annoying parts of Christmas or winter, like, when your fingers are so cold.
Yeah, it's a pretty generic commentary on winter, Christmas, and cold times. And it's a beautiful closing number for this, some would call propagandish style musical, but we just call it our favorite musical. In this song titled Winter, Cold, Christmas. No, wait, Cold Winter Christmas. Jack Frost is around, nipping at stuff. It's so cold out here, it gets kind of rough. Driving on roads, it can be kind of dicey, because it's winter and those roads are icy.
Winter cold and Christmas.
Winter cold and Christmas.
Girls and boys building snow stuff. Winter cold and Christmas. Drinking hot drinks to warm your cold cheeks. Kissing icy poles. Icicles getting stuck to your tongue. Oh, what it's like to love Christmas and beyond.
Turning off your sprinkler system before the pipes burst and get everywhere.
No longer working out because it's dark in the morning, and sleeping in 'cause your toes are cold. Winter cold Christmas. Winter cold Christmas. Tiny tots throwing snowballs when you're not in the mood. Being disappointed by ham and Christmas foods.
The homeless sleeping on the ground, wondering how will they survive.
And us feeling sad, maybe throwing them a five.
Winter cold Christmas. Winter cold Christmas. Mother asking for a Christmas wish list, and not knowing what to put 'cause you're an adult and you miss the Christmas magic of being a kid, believing in Santa, waking up so thrilled. That's what Christmas is all about.
Nostalgia and wishing you could go back then.
Winter cold Christmas. Winter cold Christmas.
Winter cold Christmas.
Christmas is communism. So you remember, kids, every time you're opening your gifts around the fire or giving old Poppy his yearly socks, remember that Santa Claus fought for communism, so that could still happen. Why do you think the North Pole is so hard to get and outside of the U.S. jurisdiction?
They don't want you to go there, those duds.
Because Santa's still a communist to this day. Because he dedicates his whole life for the greater good, so that all of us may be loved equally.
So, throw an old thank you to the man in red this Christmas season.
Throw a thank you to the old man in red by waiting in line for some bread. They say every time a piece of bread is handed out, why, old Kris Kringle gets a little tingle down south. In his belly. Judy, Rudy, and Mr. Yips, wishing you